Just take 2 steps.
Cool. Okay. Sorry. Let's go.
Awesome. Okay. So first off, I didn't really send you this because for some reason I didn't even think of it. But where did the name like Supergold originate from? How do you guys come up with it?
So I've been asked this a couple of times, and I wish I had a better answer. But I have like a list of notes in my phone that I'll keep for when I'm writing lyrics. Just like either like things to write about or just like words or phrases that I think are cool or would spark something. And it was just among the list of stuff. So when it came time to like pick a band name, I was going through there, and then for whatever reason, Supergold was written down. I was like, cool, that's it. Next. Like, I wish that like there's not really like a lot of thought put behind it, but that's kind of where it came from.
That's awesome. I actually same here. Like one of my bands, when we were designing names, I just had like a list of them like in the notes in my phone. I was just going through them trying to find something cool.
Yeah, it was like
But,
that was cool.
yeah.
That'll get the job done.
Yeah, exactly. How did Supergold like first form?
Okay, so we've had a bunch of band member changes throughout all of Supergold. So when the band first started, I was putting up flyers looking for bandmates, and at the time I managed to get a bassist and a keyboard player. So I had myself singing, a keyboard player, and a bassist, and we were looking for a drummer and 2 guitar players. And while I was putting up flyers at the college I go to, FAU, someone else was also putting up flyers as 2 guitar players and a drummer looking for a bassist, a singer, and a keyboard player. So we put up flyers next to each other, like looking for the other like person. And so I called him. At the time, it was our guitar player Ryan. I called him. I was like, "Hey, like, did you see my flyer?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Did you see mine?" He's like, "Yeah." That's like how I got your number. We would be dumb to not put our bands together because we're literally looking for like each other. And so that's what we did. And that was the first iteration of Supergold. And then from there, we had a bunch of band member changes. And I put up flyers, and that's how I found our current guitar player, Chris. Tanner and Pablo both joined together. Their band that they were in together had split up at around the same time that our bassist and guitarist had left. So that was perfect. And then who am I missing? Tanner, Pablo, and then Kyle is the only original member left. Kyle, the drummer. He's the first drummer and the only original member left. The only one that stuck around.
Yeah. Drummers are always like the hardest to find, I feel.
Yeah.
So it's good to have like one that sticks with you.
Exactly.
Like, yeah. Over the years, I've tried to find like so many drummers for my bands, and it's just like every drummer that I find, they earn like at least 3 other bands. Like it's so hard to find one available. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. What was your original goal starting Supergold? Was it just like to pass time as like a hobby, or was it more of a serious situation, or what?
I've always had the aspiration to do a band as a career. And from the jump, that was the goal. When I was putting up flyers, I was looking for like-minded people. I wasn't really looking for anyone who didn't want to do something seriously. And I've had like friends of mine who are trying to start bands or have started bands, and when they're looking for members, they'll ask me like, "How did you find people?" And I always tell them the same thing, that when I'm looking for bandmates, I don't necessarily look for musical talent. Like if you're a great guitar player, that's fantastic. But I'm really looking for someone who's dedicated, because at least what I think is that if you're a great guitar player, it's a lot harder to teach you to be dedicated and to learn, how to take something seriously, versus someone who's already driven. Well, then I can just teach you guitar. I mean, it's a lot easier to teach someone guitar than to teach someone to be driven.
Exactly.
So it was always from the jump looking for someone who wanted to take a band seriously, kind of regardless of how talented they were.
Yeah, that's a really good way to go about it, because like I've noticed that a lot of like the best guitar players tend to be more cocky
Yeah.
and just like less dedicated to whatever you have to
Exactly.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so much more difficult to teach someone to want something really badly or be driven. It's harder to teach someone to to play gigs for nothing in the hopes that it will propel the band forward than to learn what a G chord is.
Yeah, exactly. So like when the Supergold was like first founded and when you guys were kind of like in the beginning stages of the band, what
Mhm.
techniques did you guys use to market yourselves? Like how did you first start to develop a fan base and first start to advertise for gigs?
So it's in the beginning because it's kind of just changed recently, kind of with the new year. I've started to learn more, but in the beginning and for the first year, it was just play as many shows as humanly possible. Like we would book any show, almost any show, whether it was paid or whatever, just to try and get like 4 more fans, just to try and get like 3 more. We played to like 10 people, cool. Let's try and make like real fans out of half of them. Like it was more. It was a inches game in the beginning. So we just played as many gigs as we could, and in the beginning, I think that was the right way to go about it because it taught us to play really well together. It taught us how to perform on stage. It taught us to be tighter. Um, it it taught us a lot about the local scene and how local scenes work and booking and all that stuff. As of recently, we've started to change the scale back, playing so many shows and learning more about marketing ourselves online. But in the beginning, it was just play as many shows as humanly possible.
Yeah, that's really smart actually because like I don't know, in the beginning you need to play shows. Like you have to
Yeah,
learn how to play together. You have to
yeah,
like learn how to develop that kind of stage presence.
right.
But like yeah, what exactly do you do now? Like what's your strategy?
Facebook and Instagram ads, 100%. That's all. It's kind of funny because after we went on tour in November, we planned a tour in 2 months, and we're supposed to do 14 cities, but it turned into 13 cities. But that's a different story. And we were like, it was kind of like the whole goal of the band is like, we want to be touring musicians. We want to turn this into a career. And then we like did the thing we set out to do, and we were like, okay, like how do we make this better? How do we take what we learned and build on it? And we sent out some posters, and we worked with the bands that we booked, and we did Instagram and Facebook ads, and that was how we promoted the tour. And like in places where we should have sold 0 tickets, we would sell like 10 tickets from doing Facebook and Instagram ads, knowing nothing about them, just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. And we would sell, 10 tickets is incredibly small, but 10 tickets is a lot different than 0 tickets, um, and learning more and more about Facebook ads. That's definitely become our strategy. It's kind of like the end all be all right now is online marketing.
Yeah. And when it comes to like Instagram and Facebook, do you like swing more towards one app or the other at all?
Originally it was like I was like Instagram all the way. But the more I've learned, I'm kind of actually leaning towards Facebook more. And I've taken these courses from these guys, Entrepreneur. They're fantastic. I recommend it to anybody, anyone and everyone. And definitely more towards Facebook. And the reason is because you can post longer videos on Facebook. And I'll get into a little bit of strategy, but in the way they explain it. But with Facebook, you can post like a 2-hour video as like an ad. On Instagram, the longest you can go is 2 minutes, right? And when you post a video on Facebook, you can retarget people who watch anywhere from 3 seconds of the video to 95% of the video. And it goes up in increments of like 25%, 50%, 75%, whatever. And so what you're really looking for is those people who watch 75% to 95% of whatever video you post, because those are the people who really enjoy the video you watch. And then you can retarget them after they watch the video. Now, if that video is only 2 minutes, then 75% is only 1 minute and 30 seconds. They might not be as invested, or that might not even be the entire song. But if you post on Facebook and Instagram ad that's say 4, 5, 6 minutes, and they watch 75% of that, in this day and age, if you watch 4 minutes of a video of an advertisement, that person probably really enjoyed the video and probably should see more of your content, which on ads you can retarget them and make sure they see more of that content. So I'm actually leaning a lot more towards Facebook for the initial marketing, and then I'll retarget people on Instagram with shorter videos.
Yeah, that's cool. I've never heard that about Facebook. I guess because I never use it, but I never knew that like you could post 2-hour-long videos or whatever.
Yeah. You can post like 2-hour-long like videos as ads. So I mean, if you made like a concert video and it was like an hour-long concert video, and you retarget people who watch 75% of that video, you're talking about they watched like 40 minutes. You know, they probably are already in love with the band just from that ad, and they should probably see more advertisements from you.
Yeah, that's awesome. So like, are there any other social media platforms you'll consider trying out in the future? Like, I know TikTok's kind of a thing right now.
TikTok.
Have you guys tried that?
I haven't done anything with TikTok. My girlfriend watches TikTok 24/7. And so the only TikTok content I've seen is from whatever she shows me. And I have gone on it a couple of times. But that's probably the next step. Yeah, I just need to start learning about it and like probably consuming more content, kind of learning like the vibe of it, you know, because you don't want to like post like Twitter content on TikTok. It wouldn't go over well.
Yeah, it's like boomers trying to make stuff on TikTok or like Instagram. It's just like so awkward.
Exactly. We don't want to go on there and just what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
It's like you're 20, stop.
Exactly. Like I'm 18 and like sometimes I feel too old for the app even. Just because a lot of demographics like high schoolers, middle schoolers, so it's just like
Yeah, I mean, if the attention is there, and their algorithm for organic reach, I know is crazy. It you know, my sister has 500,000 streams on a TikTok she made, you know, and she wasn't even trying, you know. So for musicians, that's incredibly powerful. But the one thing I will say, and I'm totally just copying what those indiepreneur courses have taught me, is that with Instagram and Facebook ads, there's a return path, so you can retarget those people who watch your videos. Unfortunately, on TikTok and on most other forms of marketing, there's no return path. So I could get 500,000 views on a TikTok video, but there's no way for me to really follow up with those people unless they want it. So unless they maybe follow me or I don't like the video, I'm not sure how it works. But that's why I'm still leaning towards Instagram and Facebook ads more than anything else. But it doesn't cost anything to be on TikTok, so it's probably a good idea to do it.
Yeah, that makes sense because like it's you can't even really message people on TikTok unless you both are following each other. So like that's also a huge thing. So yeah. A lot of musicians actually you can add links to your other socials in your account. So you can have a link to like your YouTube or your Instagram and people can just like click it and add you. So I guess that's kind of good, but yeah.
Dude, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
It is like kind of more difficult. I know about it.
Yeah. So like moving away from social media, how would you describe your fan base? Like
our fan base is really great, and the reason why is because we like to do like a lot of like really weird stuff. Not weird, but like I guess stuff that most bands I guess wouldn't do. Like we sell all of our own tickets on our own website. We don't use anyone else, and thankfully our fans are okay with that, and they buy our tickets straight from us. We do like a fan club type deal. We call it the club, and it's, you know, at its core, it's like an email sign up, but we want to make it way better where we can, you know, actually communicate one-to-one with people, and we make our own digital zine, and, you know, we'll send them cool stuff, and we'll send them videos that haven't come out yet. And that's what makes our fan base really cool, is because they're willing to come with us on these like experiments. You know, like we want to try and provide the most value to our fans, and what we found is sometimes that can be a turnoff because we do things that no other band like wants to do or does or whatever, and because someone might not be used to that form of advertising or giving value, it can be a turnoff. So our fan base is really great because they help us with experience. Like the other day we did I did an Instagram live session, and then after the live, I was telling everyone we're going to do a Netflix watch party after this, and we're going to watch a movie together. And everyone got to vote on the movie. And I don't know if you know what Netflix watch party is, but it basically everyone watches the movie at the same time, so it syncs up everyone's Netflix, and then there's like a little chat box in the corner, so everyone can watch the movie, and we can all talk to each other in this Netflix watch party and like watch a movie together. And I don't know, I've seen a couple of bands do it, but no one's really doing it. And you know, our fans are cool enough to want to watch a movie with us.
Yeah, that's awesome. I saw when you guys posted that. Like, I wanted to join. Yeah.
There were some technical difficulties. Like, I'm shit with computers, so that's another reason why our fans are great, because they fucking stick around even though I can't figure shit out.
Yeah. Exactly. And when it comes to like giving your fans like the additional value of to like different platforms or different kinds of medias, like I feel like musicians don't really want to do that all the time because there's so much work. Especially if you're an independent musician, like you have no one to do that but yourself. So you only have to work yourself.
Yeah, it can definitely be overwhelming. I'll give you an example. You know, I've going back to like Facebook and Instagram ads, like trying to learn as much as I humanly can about that. Like it is really overwhelming. Like there's so much you can do. There's so much strategy that goes into it, that sometimes I just end up needing to take a step back. And we bought an RV, which I'm in right now, and we're renovating it. And And I was talking to my buddy Max about this because we were talking about ads, and we were like, I was telling him that, you know, learning about these ads can be so much that sometimes I just need to take 3 days and go paint the wall white, and that's the entire goal of the day, is to put a wall up in the RV or paint something.
Yeah, that's good, because like I don't know, I love learning about business. I love learning about like the music industry. I'm actually in school studying business at the moment. And like I could just fall down a rabbit hole researching the music industry, or just like looking into all these things, and then by the end of it I am exhausted and I cannot do anything else.
It can be paralyzing. Like I've totally been there, where, you know, you're trying to learn how to make your band, your business better, and you know, you go down the rabbit hole, and you just don't know what left from right anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. When it comes to like branding Supergold, I noticed that you guys have a lot of like, you guys have an interesting style on your Instagram. Like I can tell when a piece of content is from you. Like, how would you describe your whole aesthetic when it comes to that?
I have no idea. I've wrestled with this a lot. Like it changes a lot with the wind, and hopefully it seems cohesive, but it flip-flops between our wonderful photographer, Kat. She'll do like our professional stuff. She'll help us film stuff. And then sometimes it's just me posting a dumb video of me trying to paint a wall like I did yesterday. But it's a healthy mix, I think, between us trying to be professional and then also just being dumb.
Yeah, like I feel like when it comes to like people who make content nowadays, you have to be down to earth and just casual and dumb sometimes, because people are so sick of like the picture perfect, idealized. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, hey, don't forget, there's an actual person behind this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I have feelings. Please don't
Yeah.
make fun of me.
Exactly.
Yeah. Um. So, in your opinion, like, how necessary is social media for a musician nowadays to become successful?
Oh, 100. That's probably 98% of it. Um,
Yeah.
and the reason I think it's 98% of it is because it's kind of where all of our top of funnel awareness comes from, is from our social. So what I mean by that is like people who have like just heard of your band. The first thing they're going to do is either go on Spotify. If we're counting Spotify as a social media, I guess it's not. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean,
But
the streaming
um,
service. So.
yeah, yeah. So like if okay, a better example. If we're using Instagram and Facebook ads, because I think for social media to really work, I've heard a lot that it has to be a mix between that organic posting and then also paid is really the best way to grow. That's where all of your top of funnel comes from, unless you're getting playlisted or something with Spotify. But that's where people will hear of you for the first time. So let's say you're doing let's say your reach is like 10,000 people. I mean, the people who are going to come to your shows are going to get whittled down from those 10,000 people to like 100 to 50 to whatever. And so that's why it's incredibly important, because that's where all of those first people come from. And then eventually some people are going to go on your website and maybe buy merch, and then they'll buy a ticket to your show, and then they'll listen to you forever. And as you go down that, more and more people fall out until you get down to like your actual fans at the bottom. So that's why social media is incredibly important. That's all of your top of funnel, everything.
Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, like you could have like millions of followers really, and like that doesn't mean you'll have that many people at your show even. That just
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
That's why engaging
Exactly.
is so important. Like you
Yep.
have to build a relationship with your followers so that they
Mhm.
even come to see you.
Right. People want to see. They want to see community when they go and check out a band, or anything for that matter. They don't want to be the only ones there. When they arrive on the Instagram, the Twitter, the whatever, they want to see that, hey, there's other people that also enjoy this. This is bigger than one person.
Yeah, I see that. Um, let me see if I have any other questions that we haven't answered.
Yeah,
I
this
think
is a
we
great
went
interview.
over
I never really get to talk about the business side of it, and I love that almost as much as writing songs.
Yeah, honestly, I love the business side. But speaking of that, how's your songwriting process?
Well, during the quarantine, has been a hell of a lot more. But I'll be the first to admit I don't get to write songs as much as I'd like. Just because there's so many other things between, well, not right now, but that's why I've been writing more. But between booking shows and social media and a whole bunch of slew of other things, working on websites and all that. But during the quarantine has been a lot better. I think I've got one song done, which is a lot more than usual.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
like
usually to write a song, I have to be ignoring something else that I have to do.
mhm. Yeah, same. I this quarantine, like I told myself going into it that I was gonna record a song, I was gonna finish it and release it. I
Uh-huh.
haven't done that at all.
Uh,
I haven't even
well,
started because I've just been so busy.
yeah,
But
we were gonna put out our album fairly soon, and then all this happened, and we decided, like many others, to put it off for a little bit. And I wish we could put it out, but from like a business standpoint, it's like it would be really difficult to make our money back on the record. But I follow this one guy on YouTube, and I don't remember Damian Keys is his name, and he was like during the quarantine, and he speaks directly. He does like musician marketing and stuff. And he was like he said something to the effect of like, don't worry about releasing songs. Like, you should probably be working on like learning new skills during this time, because never in in our modern history have we had like a pause button on everything, where everyone can just step back and kind of sharpen the saw. And so I don't think this has anything to do with your original question now that I think about it.
I like it though.
but but that's kind of what we've been doing, is trying to learn new skills and plan for the future, and not focus so much on releasing stuff, which is why I've been spending so much time in the RV and trying to get this done, get the little tour bus done, so that when everything's back up to normal, it's like boom, good to go, we can just get back out there.
Yeah, totally. I feel like I watched that video by Damien, but
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know. Yeah, I've seen like a few videos of people talking about like what musicians should do during the quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's great. He's got a lot of really good videos. I really like his stuff.
Yeah.
It's very, when I first started playing in bands and up until recently, everything was just trial and error. And then I've started to find more content on like, here's some helpful stuff. And it's like, oh, fantastic. I won't make that mistake now.
yeah, yeah. I consume as much content when it comes to the music business as physically possible.
Yeah.
Just so like, yeah, I like to research and hear about people's opinions and techniques, but I don't really want to hear from just one source. I kind of want to hear everything everyone has to say.
Yeah, it's great. I hope it doesn't like to anyone listening. I hope it doesn't like come across like I feel like the music business gets a bad rap. You know what I mean?
Honestly.
Like movies and stuff, like people in the music industry are like vultures, and I'm sure there are people that are. But being a independent musician, like I find the business side of it like very creative, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoy it, and I hope we can stay independent and be successful independent, because then we can be sure that we can bring the most value to our supporters, which is why we do things like the club, where we'll do like giveaways and a whole bunch of and discount tickets and stuff, because there's no one that we have to like report to. And yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like a lot of people in the music industry get a bad rap, even though there's a lot of corrupt assholes in it that just steal everything they can. But then again, like the music industry is something you have to learn and be aware of when you're an independent musician. Like you can't just go about not knowing what you're doing if you're trying to make any money off of it, or even just grow a following.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, one more thing. Has Supergold considered doing any online concerts or acoustic sessions during this quarantine?
Yeah. So right now we can't all get together, because some of us have family members that can't be exposed to anything right now. So as far as like maybe like a ticketed like online concert or like acoustic thing, that's something that we're thinking about. I did see it. I'm sure you saw it too, but that article that was like concerts might not be back till fall of next year. So yeah, so it's something to consider. It might be the band-aid that we have to put over shows until things get back up to speed. So my thing is like, if whether it's an online concert or a regular concert or whatever, for us, our top priority with everything is we do is how do we bring the most value to people, because I think if we're always thinking about how do we bring the most value to our supporters, then that would be the best way to grow. Hopefully, like if we were to do like an acoustic concert, we want to figure out how do we make this one like not in like a competitive way, but better than most, and how do we bring people the most out of it. Because for me, like an online concert, like it seems like is pretty what's the word I'm looking for? Not ironic, but you know what I mean. Like, whole point of the concert is to go to the concert. So I think if we were to do something like that, we'd have to figure out how do we make this like really special and bring the most value.
Yeah. Actually, one of my favorite bands, Blue October, they've been
Mhm.
doing, the lead singer's been doing these acoustic sessions once a week where
Uh-huh.
they're like online concerts and you just pay
Yeah.
what you can, and it's a minimum of like $5.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they do an incentive thing. So the person who donates the most money during the stream gets like a prize or something at
Yeah.
the end. They get
Yeah.
like well, they're like a famous band, so one of the
Right,
prizes
right, right.
is that you get like a session to FaceTime with them or whatever. But
That's
like
great.
indie bands could do something more along the lines of sending out merch or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Like, I like that idea of like, pay X amount, you get like a one-on-one FaceTime. Like, I think that that's bringing a lot of value. How often would you get that one-on-one with someone, like, to meet like
yeah.
a band you love? For me, if my favorite band was doing that, I'd be like, yep, whatever that is, I'm paying it. Like,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like indie bands and smaller bands could also use that and kind of like
yeah.
manipulate it in a way to bring value to like their viewers.
And like the great thing about being a small band, like of course we don't want to be big bands, but we also, I think, as independent musicians, have to remember what our strengths are being smaller. We can move so much faster. Where if we wanted to do, using your example of like the one-on-one FaceTimes, like we could do like on Thursdays we're gonna do 50 FaceTimes with as many people as we can, and we'll give everyone like a 10-minute FaceTime. And being a small band, like you have the ability to do that. You can spend all of Saturday from 9 in the morning till 9 at night FaceTiming as many of your supporters as you can.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Like you
like
have
a
more.
bigger band might have other obligations and wouldn't be able to do something like that.
Yeah, like
So,
in a way, even with indie bands, viewers can give more satisfaction and value when it comes to smaller bands than they may
right,
have when it comes to bigger bands.
right.
So yeah.
Zoom calls are free, so
Yeah. Honestly, it makes me think about, in a way, smaller bands and indie bands are almost like, well, not, I wouldn't want to say like more important than bigger bands, but they're crucial in the industry to have that balance. So like audiences could have really genuine experiences and like a lot of value when it comes to smaller bands, but also have the kind of like
yeah,
bigger than human
yeah,
experience when it comes to
yeah.
famous bands.
Right.
So,
All the big ones are small at some point, and although we all want to be there, being a smaller artist, you're nimble. You can do a lot of things very quickly. And I think the biggest thing is you have like the luxury to fail in front of not a lot of people.
yeah.
Like if we were to do something and just totally shit the bed on it, like we can move forward and it'll probably be forgotten at some point. Hopefully.
Yeah.
In the age of the
Hopefully.
internet, maybe not, but
Yeah, cancel culture is
yeah.
alive and well.
Yeah, that's very true.
So yeah, I think we went over everything I wanted to go over. Is there
Cool.
anything you want to talk about in particular?
No, this was a really great interview. I very rarely get to talk about
Awesome.
the music business side of it. And, like I said, I find that just as creative as songwriting. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, it was great to speak with you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. Be safe.
Yeah, good luck. But don't die.
Yeah. See you later.